Boggy Creek 2 and the Legend Continues is, of course, the follow-up to one of the most hugely successful independent films of all time, which is The Legend of Boggy Creek. So The Legend of Boggy Creek arguably did as much to popularise the Sasquatch, Bigfoot or skunk ape in the popular lexicon as the famed Patterson-Gimlin film did. And the premise of this one is that a professor of anthropology at the University of Arkansas is investigating sightings and reports of the legendary Boggy Creek creature with the help of 3 of his students. So after encountering some less than friendly locals, the professor and his students set up camp in the eye of the Sasquatch storm, the bowels of the Bigfoot Bermuda Triangle as it were, and then they proceed to investigate the various local sightings and accounts of the Boggy Creek creature. Which, like the first movie, it sort of provides the excuse to deliver a kind of Bigfoot horror anthology for us, which is great. We see various thrilling, chilling and even humorous encounters reenacted, just like the first movie. But unlike the first movie, which sort of delivered a bit of a passive narrative from a faceless narrator, tonally this one isn't really a documentary feel like the first one. This sequel kind of inadvertently veers off into the absurd, which is also great. It almost comes off as a bit of a vanity project for auteur filmmaker Charles B. Pierce. So Charles B. Pierce wrote, directed and starred in this legendary epic sequel to The Legend of Boggy Creek. And all the hallmarks of a good old-fashioned vanity project are here. All the boxes are ticked. Charles B. Pierce as an actor, as a character in the movie, playing the anthropologist as a genius, a badass, a gunslinger, a philosopher, a jack of all trades, really. There's even a bit of nepotism at play with his son playing one of the students, and inexplicably he's farting around shirtless for most of the movie. No idea why. And the kid delivers all of his lines with the warmth and authenticity of prototype AI from 2020. So very wooden, very cardboard in his acting indeed. And the only vanity project trope that Charles B. Pierce doesn't indulge in here is the love interest half his age, but that's not to say he isn't tempted once or twice in the movie. This differs from the first movie, of course, in that our intrepid investigators do of course play an active role in the course of events and the thrilling climax, whereas, as I said, the first movie was really just a series of Sasquatch set pieces tied loosely together by an impartial faceless narrator, which made it all a bit more realistic. So this one isn't as fondly remembered or as warmly remembered as the original movie, but that's okay. It is its own beast, if you'll pardon the pun. So like Jaws the Revenge to Steven Spielberg's 1975 original Jaws, I guess you'd say. And I reckon Boggy Creek 2, The Legend Continues, might make a great double bill with Night of the Demon, an even wilder and more outrageous Bigfoot movie than this one, if that's possible. And something nice to enjoy with this one might be some nice Texarkana pulled pork or beef brisket and a few ice cold brewskis to wash it down. So that, my friends, is Boggy Creek 2 and The Legend Continues. A stellar example of Sasquatchploitation in my opinion. Quite a bit of social commentary here, quite a bit to unpack, but I'll do my best. Sasquatch or Bigfoot is, of course, quite popular with the general populace, especially with us white people for some reason, not entirely sure why. But it does go into folklore and why it shouldn't be scoffed at. Interestingly enough, a lot of the locals are scoffing at Charles B. Pierce and his students, whether that's to hide the secret of the Sasquatch in their area, or if they're just tired of kooks descending upon them all the time. That's up for debate, and I'm still not quite sure. But generally it does go into the fascination with Sasquatch folklore, the fascination with, I guess, wasting precious university time studying Sasquatch folklore, and so on and so forth, and the enduring mystery and enduring fascination with Bigfoot, which, as I said, was kicked off by the Patterson-Gimlin film, and the original Legend of Boggy Creek did its own fair share to popularise Bigfoot or Sasquatch in the popular culture, and it doesn't look like dying anytime soon. I think as the world gets more confusing, these paranormal things, these cryptids, become more alluring, more appealing. There's a bit of escapism for us to escape from the real life problems that we have and dive into something fun for a half hour, an hour, however long it takes to have a bit of a decompress with some Sasquatch goodness, whether it's a History Channel documentary or one of these fictional films. But yeah, that is Boggy Creek 2 and the legend continues, the sequel to the Legend of Boggy Creek. It does come highly recommended. It is a fun little beer and pizza movie, or beer and pulled pork, or beer and beef brisket movie. Charles B. Pierce is an interesting filmmaker, is a bit of a auteur director. He not only made the Boggy Creek movies, he also made The Town That Dreaded Sundown as well. And he seems to have a knack for these either true or allegedly true stories to fictionalise them and make them quite interesting. And he is one of those entertaining auteur directors, much like Tommy Wiseau, I guess, or Neil Breen, or any of those guys, Bruno Mattei, aka Vincent Dawn, and always seems to bring something interesting and entertaining to the table. So Boggy Creek 2 is quite easy to find on physical media or on streaming services. I'll try and find a link to where you can watch it in the description, a link to the trailer, and if I can find any little Easter eggs, I'll link to those as well. But if you are still here at this point, you're enjoying this content, thanks for the support, and I hope you'll like, share and subscribe. I try and upload at least about once a week, time permitting, hopefully more. And liking, sharing and subscribing is the best way to basically make sure that you don't miss anything. So thanks for that. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.